Welcome into the Echo Sportscast number 55.
I'm Jackson Bull.
I'm Ben Sargent. Scollard and Algonquin clashed in a very important Week 3 matchup in NDA football. Both teams came in 0-1 as they looked to catch the Trojans for first seed and a bye to the finals when playoffs come.
The Barons and Trojans were also in action against each other on the volleyball courts at Algonquin Tuesday night. We have highlights and a conversation with Barons coach Zach Thibault and setter Jacob Fry.
And right after that volleyball game, I stayed at Algonquin, got some action from the senior girls as Algonquin faced off against Mattawa.
Shifting gears, we also have updates on the Lakers, including a thriller OT win from the Lacrosse team as they improved to a perfect 3-0 start to the year.
All of that and more on the way, but first, a word from today's sponsor, Source for Sports. It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way. Scollard and Algonquin clashed in a huge Week 3 meeting at Omichel last Thursday evening because of the PD day got pushed back a day. I got there at halftime and Scollard was up 14-7, and then the second half it was pretty much all Algonquin as quarterback Dane Meyer, who came back after missing the opener versus the Trojans with a concussion, just showed how valuable he is to the Barons. He threw 2 long balls for touchdowns, and Algonquin came away victorious 28-21, which moves them now to 2-1 on the season, and they have a big game coming up this afternoon at 1:30 at Algonquin. It's a rematch against the Trojans with a chance to be tied for first. I'm going to have to see what the tiebreaker rules are going to be, but a chance for them both to be 2-1 on the season. And after the final whistle, I did get a chance to speak with Barons quarterback Dane Meyer on his thoughts after a huge win. So I'm here with Dane Meyer, the quarterback of the Algonquin Barons. Dane, you guys had a tough Week 1. You fall to the Trojans, but you get the bye week, you come back. You come down in this game, you're down at halftime. You come back, you end up winning this one 28-21. What does this win mean for you?
It means a lot for me. I missed first week because of a concussion in an exhibition game, and coming to rally my team after losing Week 1 means a lot, especially after the first half. We definitely dialed in and came out there this game and said,
what were the adjustments that you guys made during halftime that you think got you to scoring, was it 21 points, not unanswered, but 21 points in that second half?
It was more everyone just dialing in and do what they needed to do. In the first half, we missed a lot of opportunities on passes that we normally complete, or runs, or missed blocks, or just missed throws. And in the second half, we just came out and did what we normally do, like we did last year, and what we're going to continue to do.
Yeah, so of course you had a couple of big passes. There were 2 long receptions that you had. Maybe talk a little bit about your receivers and how you felt throwing those 2 long balls that both went for touchdowns.
Every single one of my receivers is unguardable. No one can guard my receivers, and I have utmost confidence in throwing to my receivers, especially the deep ball. I know they can all go get it and go do what they did.
Yeah. So defensively too, you guys shut down St. Joseph Scollard Hall. You guys did it like especially you got a couple of sacks that are laid on. How is the defense tonight compared to how it usually is?
Our defense played like how we usually play. This is the defense we play, and they played awesome. That's how we are going to commit for the rest of the year.
So it's a short season, of course. You guys are the defending champions. Do you feel like you still have time to get that first overall bye? And how confident do you feel that you guys are going to win this year?
I'm not going to say anything about winning this year because that's to be determined, but I still feel confident about our team, and I'm excited to come up against Ferris next week and see how that game goes.
Well, congratulations. Good luck against Ferris. It's going to be a big one, and congrats for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
It was a pretty fun game on Thursday evening. Dane was a really fun guy to talk to. I wasn't sure if he was their backup or not. So when I went up to him and because I was just thinking, because he made some really nice throws. It's like, dang, their backup quarterback's looking really good. And then he said no, he came back and we were talking a bit. But super humble guy, humble kid, and it was it's interesting how all the quarterbacks this year are actually really solid for all three teams.
Yeah, well, it's the most important position on the field, most would say, and so that's awesome. He's a tall fella, isn't he? Did he move with his legs at all, or is it just mostly his passing game?
That's a good question. I don't think he's as tall as Nick from West Ferris. I'd say he's probably a little bit on the smaller side. Maybe they're all kind of a little short compared to because they're still just teenagers. But yeah, I'd say he's like medium sized as a quarterback. I wouldn't say he's overly tall as a quarterback. But the funny thing is, I was talking to you about this off air, but I ran into my old GM. He used to work. He used to work with me at Best Buy, and Drew and his son Brady is the quarterback on Scholard. So I haven't seen him for like 4 or 5 years, and I get set up at the start of the second half, and I just see him walk by. He's wearing his Packers. He's huge Packers fan. Walks in with his Packers jersey. I'm like, hey, it's Drew. And we just chatted for a bit. I also ran into Nick Corbeil's dad, actually, who was there. He came up and chatted with him. We were chatting for a bit. And then Mark Mathon, the Bulldogs head coach, was there. And we were talking a bit about the CFL rules. And it's always interesting to see who you meet at these events.
Absolutely. It sounds like you had a fantastic evening. You social butterfly.
I'm not a social butterfly, but yeah.
I think Brady wears number 12, doesn't he?
Yes.
You think he wears it for Aaron Rodgers?
I didn't think about that. But do you think people are upset about Aaron Rodgers when he left and then?
Generally, yeah, but I mean,
that happened with Brett Favre and
but a legacy is a legacy.
That is true. He actually looked pretty good. I think his O-line let him down a little bit. He got sacked a couple of times. I know that Matt Dabian, who's Ryan's the coach's son, he got a couple of sacks only because I heard people get really pumped up when a couple of that happened. So I don't think Brady got help from his O-line in that game. It was, as much as Algonquin really pushed for it, it was pretty back and forth, and we didn't know who was going. I did promise Drew, I'm like, hey, if you guys win, because they were up at the time, I'm like, if you guys win, I'll get an interview with Brady. And then they didn't win, and as he was walking by, he's like, no interview. And I kind of laughed about that. So no, it was good seeing him, and again, it's fascinating with how this goes, because this is a huge game, right? Both teams are 0-1. They only play, I think it's 4 games on the year. They play each other twice. So with the Trojans winning 2-0, I don't know. I think going into this game this afternoon with Algonquin and West Ferris, it's going to be easily the biggest game of the year.
Oh, for sure. Because I don't know quite how the tiebreaker works in football, but head to head, they'd be 1-1 against each other. Mm-hmm. So it'd come down to maybe it's points scored, like how good your defense is, or I'm not sure, but definitely it'll come down to it, and that'll be exciting. Yeah, I'm going to talk to somebody, either Ryan or Mark, depends on who I talk to after the game, and find out. Because if West Ferris wins, they're 3-0, but then if they tie, like if they're both 3-1 to end the season, you would assume that Ferris wins the tiebreaker because they would have beaten Algonquin twice. But I'm really excited to see with Dane coming back, assuming that he plays, it's going to be interesting because he didn't play in that opening game, right? And so that you start thinking about, if he was playing in that game, does Algonquin win? Because he's a really good quarterback. Like, you could see his arm is phenomenal. It's kind of interesting. Like, when you look at Ferris, like, Nick's arm's good, but he does a lot of running on his feet. Dane had a couple of really nice deep passes. He's got some great receivers. So does Ferris. But it's going to be, I think that's going to be the clash. That's going to be the final preview, I think. Yeah. I think Scholard, it's going to be tough for them to get to the finals. I think they look like the weaker of the 3 teams this year, but Algonquin-Ferris is going to be a really good game. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be on Algonquin's home field. Quarterback's back. Kids are going to be amped up for that game. Like you said, everybody knows it's a big game. It's a final preview. And Scholar's going to have to, they're going to have to come out flying in that semifinal. You almost have to say screw it for the regular season. Yeah. Well, they're 0-2. I don't think it's realistic that they're going to get to first. They could, but I don't think they're going to get to first. So you'd have to lock it in for that semifinal and come out just slinging. Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but I know that it goes basically. They have a couple of weeks left, and then it's going to be semifinals. The next week it's going to be the finals, and then you've got NASA and then OFSA, and it's going to be interesting with NASA because as I was talking to Nick's dad. He was talking about how good Cora is and how strong that team from the Sioux is because they play all these teams from the down south. And we were talking a little bit about his son, and he was just saying he went down south and he was just he came back. He's like, Dad, I'm outclassed.
normal. Like, I'm not, I'm nothing down there. And that's kind of how the way it always felt coming up here, because they just play against so much competition. You play down, there's a larger population pool to reach from, and it's interesting. But I think both those teams are going to have a good time at NASA. Either of those teams that make it, or any of the teams that make it, are going to have an interesting team at NASA. But Cora is always the team to try to beat.
Yeah, those Sault Ste. Marie teams, especially Cora, run like it almost looks like a United States program type. And they used to actually forfeit boys volleyball in the fall. They wouldn't bring a team to NASA because all their male athletes were playing football.
So, that's interesting, actually. That doesn't surprise me because, again, you talk to like some of these people like Wes Buell's on that team, and obviously going back to Nick again, these are guys where it's funny, like football isn't even his first sport, it's basketball. And I think we talked about that. His dad mentioned that. And so it's funny how all these guys are like, I think there's 5 or 6 team. I think what his dad was saying was the entire basketball team starting lineup is playing on the football team. And so it just shows how, obviously these are very multi-sport athletes, but it's interesting to see where people thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you could be a shifty guard like Wes Buell is on the basketball court and be a huge receiver for the football team. The football field wasn't the only place Algonquin and West Ferris met, as on Tuesday night, the senior boys volleyball teams played each other at the Barons gym. The Barons were in control for most of the game as they took down the first set 25-16. The second set was much closer as West Ferris fought back, but Algonquin won 25-23. After the Trojans came up firing in the third set, Algonquin ended up getting the sweep as they took the final set 25-20. Here's Barons coach Zach Thibault and setter Jacob Fry on their victory and a look ahead to their Monday rematch against the mighty Chippewa Ravens.
I am here with coach of the Algonquin Barons senior volleyball team, Zach Thibault. Zach, you guys just won in straight sets against a pretty good Trojans team that almost kind of came back at the end. What did you think of your performance here tonight?
Didn't really take care of the ball the way we wanted to, but overall we showed like some battle in terms of like clawing back. I think the last 2 sets we were down 3-4 points, and then we ended up climbing back from that deficit to win both sets. So overall showed some grit, which is nothing to scoff at. But yeah, got to back to the drawing board and clean the simple things.
Yeah, as you said, clean sets as well. That last set almost got away from you a little bit. You had a pretty clean first 2 sets for the most part. That last set you had to come from behind. What was the talk when you go into that huddle, kind of in the middle of the timeout, in the middle of the set? What do you talk to your team about?
A lot of my guys are athletic. Not all of them have grew up with volleyball. So a big thing when you lose a couple points in a row, it's very easy to get down on yourself. But volleyball is the beautiful thing about volleyball is you can always reset and focus on the next one. So that's kind of what we just do. We come back, calm the nerves, and just make them believe that they're capable of sighting out the next point and then just sending them back.
So this season, obviously, Ravens are the team to kind of beat. They're the team to go for. You guys, unfortunately, lost in straight sets to start off the year. I believe, if my schedule is correct, you're playing them Monday, I believe, as your rematch. What is going to be the goal going into that game, kind of now that you've got a couple of games under your belt into the season?
Again, it's the tiny things. It's making sure we communicate, making sure we take care of every opportunity that we get. The higher end the team is, the more we have to capitalize on those opportunities that they give us. So it's just making sure that we're ready to pounce on any opportunity that we get in that match.
So who are the players to watch for on the team? Who are the people you're going to give a shout out to? I know we're going to talk to one of your players in a second here, but who are the people you want to shout out to?
I got my three seniors that see the court. So I have Jacob Fry, my setter, just outstanding, puts the ball in the right spot, and the hitters know so they can trust him. Got Sam Jones, my main left side. He just, if need a point, give the ball to Jones. And then Owen Hamilton, he's been, as far as I'm concerned, unstoppable in the middle when he's on time. So those would be the 3. Yeah.
Well, good luck and congratulations on the win tonight, and good luck against Chippewa on Monday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I'm sitting here with Jacob Fry, the Algonquin setter. Jacob, just talked to your coach, Zach, and obviously just won in straight sets against West Ferris. What did you think of your performance here tonight?
I think I played okay. It was a hard game to get some momentum in. Like, we had a couple silly mistakes on just easy passes and free balls, so it was kind of hard to find a groove, but other than that, it was pretty solid.
Do you think when you play in different gyms, is there a different vibe that goes around when you play at home versus when you play, let's say, at Chippewa or Ferris or Schollard?
Most definitely. Whenever we play at Chippewa, they got like the big drum going. There's always a bigger crowd. It definitely changes the result of the game.
So, who are some of the teammates you want to shout out? The people who who look good for you and do some good things on your end.
Sam Jones is my left side. Awesome player. He's usually my go-to whenever I need a point. I can rely on him. Jacob DeHaas, he's a grade 10 playing senior ball. He's an awesome player. Hits hard, good on the block. And Owen Hamilton, my middle. Super athletic, super bouncy, so he can bounce a couple every now and then.
Okay, so I did ask this question to your coach about the Chippewa game that's upcoming. What are the changes that you think you need to make, and what are some of the stuff that you want to continue doing that you saw your team doing tonight?
Just more on the fundamental side, like passing, getting serves over the net. We make too many mistakes on that. So, yeah, just being Chippewa is a team that makes a lot of big plays. Like, they'll bounce some balls all the time. We can't let that affect us. We got to keep going even if it happens.
So you guys come back in that third set. You're down. Not a whole lot, but you're down quite a bit. You come back, you end up winning pretty handedly. What goes through your head a little bit as that set's going? Is this something where is there any point where you think you might concede to the next set, or do you just try to always go for the win?
No, we just try to keep pushing forward. Like, no matter what happens, like, we have to keep our head up. Like, even if we're down by 10 or 8, like we played Franco last week, we were down by, I think the score was 23-15, and we ended up coming back and almost winning the set. Like, we just have to keep our head up and stay positive.
So one of the things we like asking is the future. What's because everybody's like a cop or like a lawyer or whatever. What does the future look like for Jacob Fry?
I think nursing. I got into Nipissing in Ottawa for nursing, so hopefully that works out.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight. Good luck going up into nursing, and good luck against Chippewa.
Thank you so much.
It was an interesting game. I didn't know what to expect. The only game I've seen was Algonquin versus Chippewa, and obviously Chippewa being as good as they are. So it was nice to see, I guess in this case, the Barons being the stronger of the team. West Ferris, you can definitely tell their program is getting there. It's maybe not as when you see a team like Chippewa, who's very, as we said, it's a program. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. Ferris is much more. They're there for fun, which is good. That's part of the sport. But Algonquin definitely seemed like easily the stronger of the two teams.
Yeah, so you were there comparing Algonquin's performance to Chippewa to Ferris. How did they look like they were in the driver's seat? Did they look like the
Barons?
Yeah, accustomed to that role.
I would say that the Barons looked against West Ferris how Chippewa looked against Algonquin. So yes, they made some mistakes, but they were clearly the better team, and they were able to come back from a couple of when they were down a little bit, they were able to come back. And that's kind of what Chippewa was able to do too. Even when they didn't play their A game, they could still come back. So I would say I guess if you were going down by tiers, it would be like Chippewa, then Algonquin, then a team like Ferris. But those are the only three teams I've seen. I haven't seen Scholar play, so I don't know how. Like you saw Scholar play, so I'm not too sure how they looked. I think to me, I'd probably have to see Algonquin play Scholar to see how things are shaping up. But yeah,
Scholar looks good. They have to put it together a little bit. They have a number of grade 11s and one or two key pieces in grade 13 where the chemistry has never been built before, because when those 11s were in 9, the 13 had already moved up to 11. So they're going to have to work out those kinks. But I think Algonquin is a little bit of a dark horse if they can put it together faster than Scholar can.
Do you think, though, that Chippewa is still easily like number one? Like they're going to be...
I do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to dethrone them a bit.
Yeah, especially if they play their starters and they keep their chins high and don't sort of swoop down to that. Don't let the emotions get into it, and they just play good volleyball. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and it was fun getting to chat with their coach as well. And I can never tell who's the head coach either, because like I thought there was him and there was another lady there, and I went up to her at first because she seemed like she was the one talking a lot to the players. I'm like, she must be the head coach. And then she's like, no, go talk to Zach. I'm like, okay, cool. So I grabbed him and it was just kind of funny that way. And then it's funny because I always have to get them to spell their name into the mic at the beginning just so I don't make any mistakes, and for later on when I do it. And Jacob was like, I'm like, can you just spell your name? Because I don't know, maybe there's a K in there or something. He's like, no, it's just normal. I'm like, okay, thanks. That's gonna be nice and easy. But it was it was a good game overall. I think as you said, Algonquin, there's gonna be a fight for second place. It's gonna be hard to dethrone Chippewa. Now there's a big game Monday night. So Monday night, Chippewa and Algonquin face for a rematch in Chippewa. I think that's gonna be interesting because I did ask about that as well. Kind of what they thought, what's it going to be like going back against Chippewa, because now we're about 6 games into the season, 5 or 6 games, give or take, because you play about twice a week. So I think that'll be an interesting game, but Chippewa still seems like it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be very difficult for them. But you never know. When you get to the finals, is it best of 3 or is it just a one-off? Best of 3? So, yeah, you never know. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, I think Chippewa could. It's possible that they get a little lazy, especially with the back half of the season. They've already got a playoff spot or the 1 seed or whatever it is. Or they give other kids playing time, and somebody like Algonquin or Scholar, or maybe even Franco and Sturgeon, I don't know how strong they are, could sneak up on them.
Right after the volleyball game, I ended up actually staying at Algonquin because the senior girls were hosting Mattawa, and I stayed for the first half, and that was pretty much all you needed to know about that game, as unfortunately for Mattawa, Algonquin, the reigning champs, had them kind of in their grip, as it was a bit of a struggle at first as both teams kind of got some of the kinks out, a couple of air balls from each team, but then once Algonquin heated up, they went on it was like a 24-0 run at some point. They ended up leading the first half up 30-6, and most of the time Mattawa had 2 points. They ended up getting 2 buckets later in the half near the end, or else it would have been an even wider margin. But overall, Algonquin, lots of steals. They were able to get some of the layups up. It was pretty much all Barons for the most part. I didn't see the final score because I had to leave. At this point, it was like 7:30. But I'm assuming they won. If they didn't, I apologize to Mattawa, but I'm assuming with the way the first half went, it was a pretty handed defeat to Mattawa.
I would have to assume the same thing. And those powerhouse teams like Algonquin and Ferris and Scholar, it's all about consistency. Like you mentioned, those layups, they just like clockwork. They don't miss them. And then on defense, it all comes down to fouls in those big games. Can they defend properly without contacting the other girl? But it's all the talent's there. It's just about execution and consistency.
Yeah. So and now you're obviously your sister plays for Chippewa, so you're a little bit more in tune with what's going on in girls basketball. Is Algonquin still the team to look for this year? Are they the team to beat, or do you think they'll get dethroned?
I think it's going to be a real tight race. No Ferris this year is interesting. That's probably who I would have put to win it. Scholar ended up beating Chippewa in their matchup last week or 2 weeks ago. They rematched tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it would be yesterday night or last night.
Yeah,
yesterday night. That's not a word.
Yeah.
Last night.
They rematched last night. I think it's going to be a tight race. Algonquin's obviously still talented. Chippewa might put it together, and Scholar's looking fierce.
Dear North Bay, you've always been more than a place on the map. You're home to me. This is where I built a life with my husband, raised our kids, and taught in local schools for over 24 years. I'm proud to be part of this community. Earlier this year, my world shifted. After living with anxiety, depression, and PTSD for much of my life, I reached a point where I couldn't keep going alone. Walking into the emergency department at the North Bay Regional Health Center was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But what I found there changed everything. A nurse who made me feel safe, a crisis worker who truly listened. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. That care gave me hope, and it inspired me to give back by supporting local healthcare so that others in our community can access the same compassionate care I did. If my story resonates with you, I hope you'll consider supporting the NBRHC Foundation. Please visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give. Because mental health is health. With gratitude, Tiffany Van Meer.
North Bay's turning 100, and what a time to be here. From the buzz of the Heritage Parade to sunset concerts at the waterfront, the city is alive with celebration. And you know who's right in the middle of it all? Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. We're proud to be a part of this milestone moment. Whether you're coming home from a family reunion, planning a gathering with friends, or just simply making the most of everything the Centennial has to offer, our doors are open. Stay in a spacious suite that feels like home, with a full kitchen to cook in, room to relax, and a space to unwind after a full day of fun. Are you hosting something bigger? Our event spaces and amazing local partners like the Grand and Stock Transportation make it easy to bring people together. Best of all, they're just steps from the action. The fireworks, the food trucks, the music, the laughter, it's all right here. Celebrate 100 years of North Bay with us. Use code Centennial to save on your stay anytime this year. Be at home with Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. Join the party today at 495 Oak Street West or give us a call at 705-495-3000.
A couple of interesting other notes that come in the world of socials. In other basketball score, the Trojan junior girls ended up beating Scholar Hall 41-22. This is coming from the West Ferris Facebook page. Emily Somerton led the way with 25 points, including 4 3-pointers. Rowan Dickey chipped in with 10 points.
The Bears defeated the Barons in junior football by a nice 12-8 barn burner.
I did see that, funny fact about that, I did see them playing. That was last Friday. I didn't end up getting over there to get some footage, but I did see people at their field playing. It's good to see the score there. Golf was interesting, something we've been talking about quite a bit this year. NASA was held this past week at the North Bay Golf and Country Club. Scholar continues to dominate as their team finished first place overall. They qualified their top 4 golfers for OFSA this year in Lindsay, Ontario. The Scholar girls had some outstanding results. Olivia Purcell qualifying for OFSA in Mississauga. And the Bears golf team as a whole will be heading to OFSA, as I mentioned, on October 14th through 16th. So good luck to the Scholar Hall team there on their trip to OFSA.
Speaking of Scholar, they had a really neat post made about their Special Olympics soccer team. It reads, "On Wednesday, we celebrated more than just goals. We celebrated teamwork, courage, and joy. Congratulations to our Special Olympics soccer Bears for showing what it means to play with heart. You've made us all proud. Big thank you to Chippewa, West Ferris, and Algonquin, Mr. Dussault's leadership class, soccer team volunteers and referees, and those from the Special Olympics Ontario who joined us for an amazing day of fun."
You know, as I was going through the different social feeds to see what was going on in kind of the world of sports there, I saw that. I was like, that is such a nice post. Because the special, like, people look at sports from a very competitive standpoint, right? Like, you've played it at a relatively high level for your age group, and people forget that it's also a game. Like, it's fun. Like, when we play like softball and men's league, it's like, who cares who wins, right? Yeah. It's just out there to go out and get some, have fun and just kind of socialize and stuff as you get older. But for some people who have, if they have a disability or they have some impediment that doesn't allow them to really be able to play sports at the level that maybe they desire to see a lot of these Special Olympics, whether it's hockey or soccer, whatever sport it is, it's great to see that. It's great for the people who put them together. It's got to make them feel like so. It's just got to be a great day for those people that get to put that together.
Absolutely. It's huge for everybody. It's huge to see the players be excited, whether they see the post or not. Whether they see it, it's fantastic. They think, oh, that's me. I'm just like all the others. I'm just like everybody else, kicking butt in sports. And then for the people who don't see it, it's still very, very important to recognize them and share all the love.
So on the lacrosse field, I did not get up there. Unfortunately, I got tied up. I meant to get up there, but I didn't. But thankfully, Nipissing did put up some great pictures that we grabbed from their social medias as the lacrosse team won an absolute thriller in overtime, 11-10. They are now a perfect 3-0 on the season. Of course, we talked to their head coach, Jason Rudge, earlier on at the beginning of the season to really talk about what their goals were. It's great to see them having a fantastic start to the season. They finished their home schedule and first half of the season actually this weekend. Saturday, they're playing Brock at 2 p.m. And then Sunday, they're playing McMaster at 1 p.m. I'm going to try my best to get up to the 1 p.m. game, and I'm going to hopefully get an interview with maybe Jason and a player there as well, because what a job for the lacrosse team. As they're now 3-0. They're a program that's being built, but they haven't had maybe the success that they're looking for. Like, they're continuing to build and try to get to the success that some of their other team, like the women's soccer and women's hockey team, have had. And they've had a great start. They're now almost just under a third of the way through their 10-game season, and it's looked like they're in the right direction.
100%. To make the playoffs, you're probably going 6-4, 5-5. You got to win 3 out of your next 7. very reasonable. And beating those Western Mustangs, I believe they were the team who ended up catching fire and winning it all last year. And so beating them in overtime is fantastic. I don't know how lacrosse overtime works. I'm really hoping it's like hockey overtime and it was 10-10 going into it and it was sudden death. But either way, I bet it was fantastic for the players, the coaches, and the fans.
Yeah, and I'm really sad that I missed it because I remember you texted me and were like, "Did you see this game?" And I was like, "No, I couldn't get there." And I just ended up getting caught up in the afternoon because it's the afternoon on a weekend, right? So that was unfortunate. I wasn't able to get up to any of the Nipissing stuff this weekend, but seeing that it just made me really happy to see their team do really well. So good luck to lacrosse this weekend. I will be there on Sunday. Saturday, of course, they're also playing Brock. So a big couple of weekends there. If you can get out, that's up at the Nipissing Field. So make sure you go check it out.
Lakers women's soccer continues their unbeaten run as they downed Ontario Tech at home last Saturday 6-1 and then traveled to Toronto the next day and drew 1-1 against Toronto Metropolitan University. They're back in action tomorrow afternoon to visit Queens at 1 o'clock and then visit at RMC on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
The men's team were in Toronto over the weekend looking to build on their first win of the season, but unfortunately they had a bit of a tough time as they fell to the University of Toronto 7-0 and then TMU the next afternoon 2-0. They're also playing Queens in Kingston right after the women at 3:15 on Saturday. Men's hockey also got started as well. The men's open their season versus McGill here at the Gardens tonight at 7 p.m. And then at 4 p.m. on Sunday, they host the University Quebec Trois-Rivières.
The Nipissing District Soccer Club also sent in a final update to their season. This past weekend, the U15 NDSC iModel girls wrapped up their 2025 season against the North Toronto Nitros. Some of the season highlights include qualified for the Competition 1 or C1 in the Ontario iModel League, first ever for NDSC, crowned 2025 Barrie Spirit Fest champions, proved they belong at the C1 level, competing hard all year against some of the province's best teams.
So yeah, the Nipissing District Soccer Club, so they send us stuff through Facebook. So if you guys out there, if you have any scores or updates or anything you want to send, don't be afraid to just send it to us on socials, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. Of course, you can send it to my email, ben@northbayecho.ca. Coming up next week, we've got some more great coverage planned. We're going to have of course, the football game, the big clash between Algonquin and West Ferris, that'll be happening this afternoon. We'll also have updates in the volleyball side as going to try to make it out to the Scholar versus Mattawa game on Tuesday night, as well as the Chippewa-Mattawa basketball game on Monday night. We'll also have Lakers lacrosse. I'm doing a Trappers game as well, so we'll have some updates there. So it's going to be a pretty big week for sports as we continue through the regular season until we get to the coveted playoffs.
That has been Echo Sportscast number 55.
I'm Ben Sargent.
I'm Jackson Bull, and thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.